Hi, this is Timothy Jackson, and I'm here to talk about my unit evaluation for the Aztec Inca Maya unit. Now, the first question is, do tasks yield appropriate evidence to the identified understandings? And there's always a mixture of positive and negative whenever you are examining an assessment. In this case, I would say the positive outweighs the negative. You can see those three graphs on the right. They represent three different classes and how they did. The bar on the right side represents students who got A's on the assignment, perfect scores. The ones that are kind of in the middle, they're B's. The ones that got B's, like 80%, those are students who simply forgot to make it a complete sentence or did something very minor like that. The ones all the way over on the left are students who did not pass the assignment. The zeros are students who simply did not turn it in. And I'm sure they would actually score quite nicely if they did turn it in. So I think this assessment could be made more effective if I had made the question more clear. And the question was whether or not the Spanish would have destroyed the Aztecs if the Aztecs had gotten rid of sacrifices. And I could see from some of the answers that I did not make that question as clear as I could, and that students did not understand it, or they simply did not make their answers very clear as well. My students oftentimes like to do the absolute minimum when it comes to writing, and it results in an unclear answer. I am in the process of grading the next objective, which has students write a sequel to the departure of Quetzalcoatl's story. Quetzalcoatl is an Aztec god who went away in mythology, and they're writing about how he is coming back. And it's going overall well, and some have grasped the mythology. So the long answer to this question is that the evidence seems appropriate, but could definitely be improved through clear instruction. Now, do the tasks involve a complex real-world application of the identified knowledge, skill, and understandings? Thus far, I would answer yes to this question. Many of my students' families come from Mexico. They have been excited to learn about their ancestors, and it's important to learn where you have been so you can know where you are going. My task challenged students to think of how the world would be different if an event had been altered, like, for example, the Spanish not destroying the Aztecs, or how we would measure years differently if they were not based on the sun, and that's a calendar assignment that I'll be introducing with the Maya next week. Exploring these concepts are important to understanding new concepts from different cultures as well as problem-solving skills in general. Are a variety of appropriate assessment formats used to provide additional evidence of learning? I would answer yes to this question. Most of my assessments involve different small projects like creating their own calendar or writing the Quetzalcoatl story. And there's a surprisingly very little formative assessments that are simply quizzes or tests asking students to recall knowledge. I try to ask the question why, not, tell me exactly what we learned about yesterday. The only assessment that I feel could be improved would be the finding of the main ideas while they are going over the presentation, and then eventually sharing their main ideas with the class through Think, Pair, Share. Unless I throw in an independent exit ticket at the end of class, there's not really a way that I can find evidence of learning, and that is a bit of a problem. So I'm trying to figure out a way to rework that particular one. Now, are students given the opportunity to self-assess and reflect upon their learning and performance? This one could be definitely improved. I don't give students very many opportunities to reflect on what they have learned, and I'm hoping maybe some minor adjustments to this unit for the future will compensate for this. I'm asking them to compare information they learned at the beginning of this unit to information they know towards the end of the unit, and I'm hoping that will help out with that. However, I do not have a way for students to measure what they have learned except to really look at the gradebook on their iPads. Social studies can be a hard subject to measure learning since a lot of what we do does not necessarily build on itself. For example, a student does not need to study any of the other units in my class to really know much before coming into this one. They don't need really prior knowledge. I had tried a traveling journal in the past and found that it was a bit too much to work with to put together and didn't exactly yield the results that I had wanted. However, this might be worth looking at and reworking again.